Good evening, everyone. You have tuned into the local scene, and this is a show that we highlight different people from around our area, around Kalamazoo, and the hidden treasures of business and organizations. So join me tonight, and we're going to be talking about local business. We're going to be talking about entrepreneurs and what it takes these days to stay in business. If you're tuning in tonight, we're talking about business throughout the year, but we are filming tonight right before the Christmas rush. We're doing this is the second to the last day in November of 2018, and we're all sitting here talking about the Christmas season and retail. So I've got two friends with me tonight that are fellow business owners, and we're going to be highlighting three businesses tonight, and I'd like a wide shot. Thank you, Bill Lindeman, for being our cameraman. Couldn't do the show without you. And we have Laurie Russell, who owns the Nature Connection.
Correct.
And you're right downstairs.
We're right downstairs in the Epic Center. Yep.
It didn't take her very long to get here tonight.
2 floors down and 1 floor below Santa.
Below Santa. And my other guest is Cindy Stewart. Hi, Cindy. And I see Cindy quite often. She is the owner-operator of Stewart and Company Furniture. You're not very far away either.
Nope, downtown.
Downtown, on the corner, or near the corner, right on West Michigan. So both of you are quite visible. I mean, people can drive by. And I'm Gloria Tiller, as I introduce myself, and I'm Kazoo Books. I'm a little further out in the Oakwood area on Parkview Avenue. But I have traffic that goes back and forth from Oakland Drive to Drake Road, past Parkview Hills. So there's quite a bit of traffic there. But that helps. None of us are you're on the mall, but you are on a trafficked, you've got two traffic streets because you're on the corner. So we have traffic that's going past us. So, but it's interesting because all of us are independent. So whatever we do, it's up to us to do it.
Yeah.
So, Laurie, how did you get started in being self-employed, more or less? Were you always self-employed?
No, I worked in community mental health services for 24 years. And I retired, and I was having lunch in the building with a girlfriend, and we walked across the hall to the store. And I was commenting on what a cute shop I thought it was.
Now this was the Nature...
This is when it was owned by the Nature Center.
Okay.
And the manager said, "We're looking for staff. Are you interested?" And I said, I'm at loose ends, 10, 15 hours a week, something to do. This looks like a blast. So I got hired, and the next thing I knew, the manager left, and they offered me the manager's job, which I said no. And they hired, they transferred a person internally, and when they left, then my husband and I talked about it, and I decided that I would go ahead and manage the store. And about 8 months in, they said, we think we need to close this down because we're having, it takes a while. It used to be 3 to 5 years. I think it's more like 6 to 9 years to be in the black on a regular basis. And they were spending program money to try to keep the store open.
And they had two different focuses,
right?
too.
2 different focuses, and so they said, we're thinking of closing it down. And I said, well, I'll either close it down for you or I'll buy it. And so we bought it. That was in 2015, or 2003. So it's been 15 years. And I got to say, Bill Rose made it so easy. He was the executive director of the Nature Center at that point, and he was just a joy to work with,
good.
and just made it so easy for us to make a transition. We closed on Saturday night. The part of the Nature Center staff and the store staff did inventory on Sunday, and we reopened on Monday. as the new
Wow.
entity. So it was completely seamless. It was great. It was great. But he was just, he made it so simple. It was,
It's not the
Yeah.
same store anymore, is it?
no, it's
We're-
changed, it's changed a lot. You know,
Yeah.
when my husband and I bought it, you know, my goals were to, bring in more Michigan and local, merchandise and to offer customers more choices and a broader range of price points. And we've expanded a little bit beyond the nature theme because we have a lot of Kalamazoo and Michigan souvenirs, and we have
Yeah.
music
Well-
things because we're of the building that we're in, and we have dance things because of the building that we're in, and we have lots of art stuff because of the building that we're in.
We'll
you
get,
know?
we'll get to that in
So,
just a second.
yeah.
I wanted
Yeah.
to get started, and then we're gonna be talking about how we've changed and what,
Mm-hmm.
what we put in our buildings. And you lease from the Epic
We
Center.
lease from the Epic Center, correct?
Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, Cindy, you're up. So how'd you get into the furniture business?
Well, my grandfather started the business back a long time
Sure.
ago, back in we're in business 77 years now.
Wow.
When I graduated from college, I was in business, and I went into the paper industry for 10 years. So I worked for a big corporation, and I
wow.
went through transfers and changes and moved from Minneapolis to the East
So
Coast.
so
and-
the family didn't draw you in right away?
No, I was not asked to ever be in it. You know, I was a family of daughters. The third generation was all daughters, and I went on my own and did other things, which was
Oh,
great.
wow, okay.
So I did that for about 10 years, and after transferring around and having that corporate experience, I started thinking about being an entrepreneur because I thought that would be more fun. And when my father heard me thinking about that, he says, well, maybe we should talk. So then we started a plan for me to start buying the business from him, but not the property. So that you were going
Okay.
to ask about property.
So you're leasing
over a
too,
period
technically.
for a period of years, I bought the business just because
Yeah.
affordability, and then eventually came to buy the property. So.
Yeah, and that happens so much with, with people don't realize that where you are, your place is important, but it's separate from the business. And a lot of people, in the bookstore business especially, it can ruin you to move 2 blocks down.
Yeah.
You should talk about that.
I
You just
mean,
did that.
yeah, well,
Yeah,
and
it's really true.
And our transition went over 30 years, that we've been there. We did a lot of soul searching. We owned all the buildings, so our transition, we ran 2 locations for about 12 years, and we started. We didn't want the customers, we didn't want to use the word close, and we didn't want to say that we were moving because we already had the business up and running. So we spent about 6 months asking our customers, do you shop both stores, or which store do you shop at? 98% of our customers said they shopped at both stores. And I go, what am I doing running back and forth to both places when the customers are going back and forth on their own? So when we stopped doing business at the one store, and I mean, it was turnkey. All I did was change the scheduling for the staff to move them over to the other store. Nothing else really changed. But it was this to overcome, the fact that that store had been there for 12 years anyway. And we still have people that show up over at the other location.
Was that your first store?
The first store was up at the top of the hill on Clarendon. And then when we bought, that was in 1988, and then we bought Parkview in 2003, the same year that you started. And then we transitioned in 16. So we'd been up and running, and it really was not much of a transition. We still have too many books, but
You could never have too many
oh yeah,
books.
maybe not. But you guys had the benefit that you bought an existing business in the same location that it was in.
That
so you were
Makes a huge difference.
right.
Yeah.
And how long? In fact, what we might do, Bill, is turn on Cindy's PowerPoint here, and we're going to show some
sorry.
great history. Yep, go ahead and get that going.
We were lucky because the Kalamazoo Gazette had a lot of old photos that we were able to pull up for building some of our history. So
Okay.
that shows the old Gilmore's department store, which I think is really,
I think
you need
he's
to pull it
gonna
forward?
I think he's gonna go into this camera over here. Nope, he's got that camera. Okay.
Or do you want me to put
What camera are we gonna use for the PowerPoint, Bill? He's gonna find it here in just a second. But anyway, so your grandfather came from Wisconsin?
So that's a picture of the old Gilmore's department store in Kalamazoo. And my grandfather had been with a furniture company called Leith and Company. And so in
Okay.
22,
There we go.
Gilmore's wanted to add a, like a leased furniture department.
Okay,
So my grandfather came.
it's gonna be this camera over here.
Okay.
There you go.
That
Got it.
close enough?
Yep.
Okay.
Cool.
So just keep flipping through. Woo!
Whoa.
Maybe not quite
So
that
I'm
fast.
sorry. So that's
Okay.
the old department store. And then they moved. He and Durwood Clark in 1941 decided to start their own building. And that went from there to our store on Michigan Avenue. And that's where the store began.
So you've been there since 1941 in the
Right.
same location?
Right.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That
So
is
that was the end of the
cool.
Depression.
Yeah.
You know, it was right before Pearl Harbor. You know, so-
Yeah.
You know, and so things were a lot different then. The old, they had their own
Yeah.
truck and they had their own building, and their goal was, if they could sell one chair a week, they could stay in business.
Wow. Wish that was true today, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah, really.
So those
Oh
are just
my
some old
gosh.
pictures of some old ads and times gone by, and then there's more, stories.
Oh, that's
about,
right, you were
we
right in the
taken
line
out
of the
by
tornado too
Yeah,
in
the tornado
1980.
The tornado hit our store in 1980 and took us out. And I think at that time, I think that my father bought property out by out West Main, thinking that people didn't want it, that it would be better to be out on a flyway like West Main. That was
Yeah,
a long time ago, and then
and then you never
never
moved.
did it. No, it's Menards now, I think, out there.
Oh, way out there. Oh my gosh. Okay,
So anyway,
oh, that's
that's
cool.
just a little bit of our history. My grandfather, who worked there till he was 90 years old. And,
Wow.
Durwood Clark, I guess I don't have a picture of Durwood in here. He retired in the 70s, and then I bought it from my dad.
All right.
So that's
Wow, that's
cool.
great. Thanks, Bill.
That's
That
neat.
was neat. So, you just, we look at each other. And now, what people don't realize, it took us almost 2.5 months to get the three of us here at the same time on the same night because of our schedule. And it goes along with being the entrepreneur, which you thought would be fun. You thought it would be easy. We thought we'd have, lots of time to do all this stuff, and we're
freedom
just
to do everything.
freedom to do everything. Yes, and we all have staff. I mean, I have people at the store, which makes me more nervous than I remember the days when I worked there by myself. Did you ever have that?
No, I mean, I've had shifts where I've been there by myself, but very rarely,
Okay.
very rarely.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but yeah, I remember the first time I had to do payroll.
Ooh, payroll service, best deal in town, I tell ya.
I do my own.
Do you?
I do
No
my
way.
own. So far, my CPA is
Nope.
a little annoyed at me, but I, so we've adapted. I mean, look,
You have to.
I mean, what year was it you bought your dad out?
Well, it was over a period of years, actually.
Okay.
So it was over a period of years, and
But when did you start working?
So it was late 80s when I started working.
Late,
late
okay,
80s, so
and I
over a
started late
period of time.
80s. You
And
started in 2003.
2003.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how, so part of the thing is we're all in Kalamazoo. And we talked about the mentality of the people in Kalamazoo. It's one of those welcoming towns where everybody knows everybody. They really like to support local. And I mean, we're as local as you can get as far as stores go. But what do our customers expect of us? I mean, we have people that come in the store and they want they want an experience. If they wanted to just buy something, they could go online and buy something. But they want to experience. What do we have to do to actually make this experience an exciting experience for them? And I know you've got some pictures. Bill, we've got some pictures of Laurie's store with some fabulous, you've got a chance to have windows. You've got
Yes.
got
yes.
display windows.
Yeah, we've got display windows, and that's the fun. Yeah, yeah.
Now, how often
Yeah.
do you change those up?
This particular shot is the window decorating contest for Christmas, and I don't know if we've got the other shot, but above that is a picture of my brother and my grandmother and I, and it was a promotion that was done a number of years ago about why we like downtown Kalamazoo, because I'd been shopping downtown since I was a little girl. And that was one of my favorite things to do with my grandmother, was stay at my grandma's house and walk down, walk downtown and shop. And then we'd take a taxi home. That's it. That's
Yeah.
the picture. Yeah, yeah. And so that's a lot of fun. But yeah, we keep that, we're constantly changing merchandise, so the windows are constantly changing.
Sure.
And it's amazing to me, we did a study, and actually, the second, word of mouth was the first way that people learned about us, and the second way was walking past the windows.
Wow.
Yeah, I was surprised, I was very surprised, but yeah, there's the little Jellycat bunnies in the window.
Aren't they
Yeah.
adorable?
Yeah, they're darling, they're just darling.
Oh, man.
But yeah, that's just, and we have sections, because
Because you square footage wise, you don't have that much square
we're
footage.
2134.
Are you really?
Is our square footage, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So like this is the bug section, and we have a butterfly section.
bug
We have a
section.
garden section, and a dino section, and a forest animal section, and a farm animal section, and a, imaginary play section, and there's the
wow.
butterfly stuff. But yeah, because we try to keep it organized for people. There's the science section. We try to keep it organized so that people can find things and we can guide them to things.
Yeah.
But
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
The bugs.
yeah,
That's so
there's
cute.
oh yeah, with bug suckers that you can eat with real bugs. Yeah. That's one of our more popular stocking stuffers, actually.
I'll bet
Yeah.
it is.
That's the other side of the bug section with the reptiles and amphibians.
Oh, my
But
gosh.
being a nature store, we try to give each little part of nature their own little area. Plus, we've got a great food section with a ton of Michigan
Yes,
food products.
yeah, and
Yeah.
these are where someone could go down and say, okay, I'm sending a basket of Michigan-made
Yes.
stuff to a friend of mine in Florida, and it could all be put together.
We've got 150, 200, 300 choices for people
Yeah.
to use. Yeah, and the candy bars are Confections with Convictions, which is right down the street on Crosstown Parkway.
Yep.
And the maple syrup and the honey are from Pawpaw, and the pottery's from Fulton.
Oh, man.
So, yeah.
That
Coffee's
is-
from Grand Rapids, the towels are done here in town.
Look at that. So, yeah, so you take local to a whole nother level.
Well, we try to, my thing is, if it's gonna be something about Michigan, it needs to be made in Michigan. That you don't wanna have something that's about Michigan that's made in China, and so
Yeah.
we try, that's our Michigan candle line, those are made in Flushing, Michigan, and actually it's a guy that went to school with my cousin, so I mean, it's just, everything has a connection, everything has a story.
Sure.
We've got, I don't know if we've got a picture of the ornaments that we have, but the company that makes those is Bart's Banners and Signs out in Portage, and I babysat for him when he was a little kid. So there's just a lot of, there's a lot of community.
Well,
in what we
and
do.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
connections. When
Yeah.
you say
Yeah.
nature connection,
Oh,
it
yeah,
goes
yeah,
a long
right,
way.
yeah,
We
yeah.
were talking before the show that, Kalamazoo is only 2.5 degrees of separation.
If that, yes, yes.
So, and you've done, Bill, we're gonna go to the cool video that you just had made.
Oh, thank you, yeah.
Yeah, because
Uh-huh,
this is
that's
this
cool.
is
What we're doing
really
today.
an interesting perspective of Cindy's business. And again, it goes back, we're going to talk a little bit about how we get our message out there to people. And this is a prime example of having to do just a little bit more, to bring something to the public. And there
I
we
knew I'd
go.
get some good ideas tonight.
Yeah. Welcome to Stewart & Company. Our store has been in my family for over 75 years. We are fortunate to have had the opportunity to help generations of families in our community and new customers throughout Southwest Michigan who discover us today. Our goal is to offer a special experience to those who visit our store. One of my favorite things to do is to be involved in a project with a customer. Hearing about what they are looking for is one part of it, but the other part is showing them so many ideas and help them with floor plans, color coordination, item selection of the pieces, working with them to co-create a room or update a space that fits their taste and vision. Our sales and design staff is trained to help people find the comfort, fit, style, and function unique to their needs. I'm Cindy Stewart. We hope you visit us for ideas, assistance with a challenge or problem, or to co-create a new space for your home.
That's
is
cool.
gorgeous.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you. We
Yeah,
changed, when
that's
we
gorgeous.
changed from Stewart and Clark to Stewart and Company, it was because of the people. You asked about us
Sure.
having people. I can't do it all by myself, I can't do it without a staff of people. And those were,
Yep.
some of the people who work for us who do a great job and build their own relationships with customers. So when you're talking about customers and connecting with customers, that's an important thing, those kind of relationships that you build with the people you do business with.
Do you know that the rugs that we bought in our house, we still get a Christmas card from the gentleman, and we bought them from you?
He designs that card.
From your,
It's
does he really?
inspired, if you look at the card, it's always inspired on rugs, on a rug design.
That's amazing. But talk about connecting.
Yeah.
That's just amazing. All these
Well,
years later.
Yeah, isn't, yeah,
You know,
that,
it's
that
so
is
cool.
interesting, but it also, you're more than a furniture store too.
Well, we try to provide more than furniture, we broad product range, but then also the key is the service that we provide, the design service that we provide.
Yeah, that's what I mean, is the actual design and the upholstery and the connecting of decorating.
Well, we can, you can customize it for each person, so, for your apartment that you're in now, it's gonna be a lot different than what your house was, so.
Oh, yeah.
So, as you decide to do, or someone decides to do a space, their needs change, their tastes change. And it's really fun to get them involved and work with them and try to help guide them a little bit in terms of how to plan it, how to do a room arrangement that's gonna be functional for them and that's gonna be purposeful for them. And then working with the colors and things that they like. So that's, I think for all of our staff, that's our favorite thing to do.
But the design work, I know that things become old-fashioned or things become different, but really, whether it's tans and browns or whether it's grays and black and white, nothing really changes as far as, the a couch is a couch, right?
Well,
No.
styles, I think styles
No.
change, and I
Styles,
think
yeah.
that just like fashion,
Sure.
fashion. Mid-century modern, that was of a time gone by, that's that's
Yeah.
the rage right now.
Right, yeah,
And then
yes,
some people
right,
say, oh, I
yeah.
remember when my parents had that back.
Uh-huh.
in the-
Oh,
back
see,
in the
that's what
60s,
that's what,
We still have it in our house.
So
That's
it's-
what's in the guest room.
so it's coming around
It's a
again.
little bit different this time, a little bit simpler this time, the color palette changes a little bit, but the color, so those things evolve.
Wow.
But I don't think there's a lot of things that's that much of a new invention in
Right.
I guess that maybe
Right,
that's what
yeah,
I meant,
yeah.
But it
Yeah.
does evolve, and whether you've got the wingbacks, which used to be popular many years ago, or if now you've got the cushy ones with the great big arms, or
it just changes.
it just changes.
Mhm.
It changes subtly. But nobody likes to be old-fashioned with their furniture, right?
I think every person has, I know we're very lucky because of Western's interior design program. So we get a lot of their students who do internships with them. And so we
Oh,
do training
wow.
with them. We were
That's
just
cool.
talking about this yesterday. We said, you can't ask somebody what their style is. Do you like contemporary? Well, a lot of people don't necessarily know what that means.
What that
Does
look- yeah,
contemporary
right.
furniture mean that it's something, what does that mean? I want something that's current today. I want it contemporary. So it's hard to define that. The best thing is to give people a visual opportunity to see things, touch things, feel things, and that's what you get to do in a store that you
Yeah.
don't get to do online.
Well, you need to sit in the chair before you buy it.
Oh, right,
See
right.
do you like
Right.
this
Yes.
or that? Do you like the turtleneck or around? You try it on,
Yeah.
you see how you look, and it's the same with furniture.
Well, it's sort of, and it would be more difficult with furniture, but I know people that will shop for a pair of shoes online, And they'll get the shoes, they don't exactly fit right, and they send them back, and they get another pair of shoes, and those don't exactly fit right. Well, by the time they get the shoes that they want, they could have walked over to V&A Bootery, and they could have gotten a pair of shoes for less money than it was gonna cost them to try on 6 pairs and send them back.
Which is the only place I get my shoes.
Which is the only, yeah, and me too.
And when we needed our house done, we went to Cindy's.
And that, when you were talking about Kalamazoo, I mean, that is one of the things that has been a strength of Kalamazoo, is you do get people who support you. You know, you end up with their second generation, or you said, you know, and we're grateful for that, very grateful
Yeah,
for that.
yeah.
I'm on the second generation. For the
Yeah.
kids that were coming in are now bringing their kids in.
Yes,
To
me
yourself.
too.
It's,
Yep.
it's a little disconcerting,
Yep,
but
I love it. I love it. You know, you
I
gotta love
enjoy it.
Yep.
I think it's great, but it is just a bit. I have no children, so the only way that I can tell that time passes, because I certainly, can't relate to time passing, is to see these kids that are now grown up and they bring their kids in, and I'm going, how did that happen? When did that happen?
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah, we've had the same thing. I love it.
yeah, but and I have a whole wall of local authors. Now, their books are not necessarily about Michigan, or some of them are, and these are authors that may have lived in Michigan or been near Michigan, or might be really local authors, and I try to support those local authors as much as I possibly can. But we have to go further afield, and our inventory comes from elsewhere. Your inventory comes from elsewhere. But, and I'm losing my train of thought. There was a point to this. And every once in a while that happens on this show.
Well,
not very
generations
often.
of people, and you get people coming back, and then you do things that attract different ages of people.
Well, my point that I just remembered was the quality. I
Right,
think
Yep.
that the quality of merchandise that we carry in our stores is so far above what you find either sometimes online or sometimes at major merchandise stores. The big box store nowadays is actually probably one of the biggest dinosaurs in existence.
Going through change.
They
Yeah,
are
that's right.
going through major change, and when you lose somebody like Sears, which is happening just recently, the news, Lowe's has already been advertising the fact that they are now owners of Craftsman tools.
Yep.
But again, Craftsman was that quality name that people associated with Sears. Well, I'm sure that Lowe's spent a whole lot of money getting that Craftsman name, but quality is important to people.
I'll just speak to quality service when I call your store, because I don't have time to come and look for things. I'll ask them about a book. I'll ask them about it. They'll see if they find it. They might tell me something about the book if they've read it or something. Or if I order it, they'll order it for me. And they make my life so easy because I get very good quality service. So your product too is also the service you
Well,
get.
they know what they're talking about.
And that's the key. I mean, your merchandise. We had a guy in this morning, and he asked the staff, he said, this wind-up toy, it's sharp, does it float? Of course, because we had tested it. So we knew that yes, it floats and it goes through the water exactly like you think it would. But we test everything that we put out to make sure that it is of that quality and that it does work and that we can answer questions that people have. And that's the advantage of
Yeah.
coming to a brick and mortar.
Well, we just expanded our sidelines. I've been against sidelines in a bookstore for years. I have said we're just a bookstore. We're not carrying sidelines. Well, I've got a wooden pen made locally, and I've got soy candles, and we just added some chocolate. It's a high-end stone ground dark chocolate, and we're trying to get the staff not to sample.
Good luck.
Not to try as much chocolate, but we had to promote it again because people didn't come in expecting to find that. And I found a handmade card, a
Great
gal
idea.
who does these beautiful artistic. She's an artist, and she's made these gift cards that are, I found her at a garden show that I was doing this summer. So we're carrying her cards in the store. Well, people come in, they don't realize that we have that because we've never had this kind of stuff. So I told, my web guy, I said, we gotta let people know we've got this stuff. So again, it's word of mouth and you're going out there. Do you guys use social media to get your new products out there, to get your stuff?
Yeah, Facebook.
Facebook?
How's that work for you?
It actually works really, really well.
Okay.
And I've been really surprised that the more effort I put into it, the more it kind of explodes. I mean, it's not a linear, it's like exponential in the impact. And you get people talking to each other, and you get people commenting. I mean, I put out a post about, the fact that there's free parking downtown on Thursday nights until Christmas. And, I got comments back, and it starts a thread. I mean, it's amazing. It really
So
is.
does that
Tell their
add to your
friends.
Facebook friend population then?
Yeah, yeah, it does. And I mean, we're just starting, so I mean, we didn't go out and buy 5,000 friends, but it's starting. I'm starting to see the more we post, the more we put into it, the numbers are going up. And
Yeah,
and,
we've got, our web guy is into the Facebook thing, and periodically, if we're gonna be doing an event, he will boost the event. But I've got another person who wants to start boosting on, or posting on Instagram some specific books that we get in. Not necessarily new ones, but even some of the old ones. And she mentioned to me the other day, how about a 30-second YouTube, because we have our own YouTube channel. And
wow.
so like this show will go up on that YouTube channel. So people can link to YouTube, go into our channel and see, the videos. Because there's a new book out there, I don't know if you guys have seen it, you probably have. It's called The Wonky Donkey. Okay. The thing is a little children's book, and it's this wonky donkey. He's a three-legged donkey. Okay, I give it away. It's a three-legged donkey. And it's got its popularity because a lady went on Facebook or wherever, or YouTube, and she read it out loud. And she read it in a theatrical style, or the way she read it, and it is funny. It's funnier than heck, but it's hard to read out loud. I mean, it's got a lot of words that are kind of string together. It's an add-on book. So the Wonky Donkey is a three-legged donkey, and then the next page you add, he's also lanky, and then he's also this, and then you have to repeat all the things that he is. Well, it went viral. And so the publisher immediately ran out of the book completely, totally.
I know.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
And so
because
we,
of a Facebook post.
Yeah, because we couldn't get it.
yeah, we waited 3 weeks in the publisher to get it. And the other one that I saw promoting this year for Christmas, it came out this summer. We Don't Eat Our Classmates. And it's a little T-Rex dinosaur. And her name's Penelope, and she goes to kindergarten, and she eats her classmates, and the teacher makes her spit them out, and everybody's afraid of her, and she doesn't have any friends, so Walter the goldfish is the only friend that she can get, except that Walter bit her finger. She put her finger in the water, and Walter bit it, and then she cried. Well, she realized that it's not good to eat your classmates. And I waited quite a long time to get that in, and we sold out. I got.
I don't know, the shark and the book sound like great gifts to me.
Yeah.
That's totally.
But now, do you have your seasons? Do you have better seasons than other seasons?
Oh, gee. Actually, 50% of our year is fourth quarter, from October to December.
Are you kidding me?
And 30%. 30 to 35% is December by itself. Yeah. About
Really?
a third of our year is December. Yeah. Yeah.
Even with the tourist in the summer?
even with the
The
tourists in the
art,
summer.
the art
And
fairs.
the art fairs and the art hops and all the events and being in the building where we are, where there's
visual.
year-round, activities going on in the building because of the other arts organizations and tenants and yeah. Mhm.
What
Yeah.
about you?
Well, our business is actually more event-oriented within a person's home. Someone has a new place they're moving to. They have a graduation party. That's always
Oh.
a big thing. They have a wedding coming up. They want to get their house
Get
in
new
order.
furniture
Uh-huh.
before
You know,
the
so it's
guests come
often- They're
over.
moving. They've gone through a loss. They need to, make something different. So it's very much involved more with the individual's time.
So you're year
than
round.
ours.
You're
So
level.
we're year round. This is the time of year for us, not so much in the sales part of the business, but the delivery part. Anybody who's bought anything in 2018 would like it before the holidays.
Right,
as you
yes,
might imagine,
correct,
you know.
yeah.
So
Now-
there's that end of our business.
Now you are careful what you buy as far as quality and where you get it and stuff. Do you find yourself having to wait for certain things, especially if it's custom upholstery?
That's a good question. I mean, generally, custom things, we've always had sort of this 8 to 14 week window of time.
Yeah.
Today, people expect a lot quicker timetable. So some of our vendors are working very hard to do more of a just-in-time manufacturing process. A lot of upholstery furniture from higher end lines is more of a bench-made thing.
Okay.
But now you're seeing, cut and sewn covers and things that can help them expedite that.
Okay.
In reference to quality change, when the furniture business, Grand Rapids used to be a great
Oh.
furniture making
Right.
place.
Porcelains.
Then North
Yeah,
Carolina was a great
yes.
market,
Uh-huh,
and then it
right.
went offshore.
Ah.
So we followed that for a while and backtracked a little bit, and that's when we brought in some more North American lines like Stickley and some Canadian lines, because we liked the quality that we could
quality.
depend upon from those kind of places. So we've all seen product changes and quality changes, and I think it's a constant challenge to the owners of the business to ferret that out for their customers, I think.
Well, and I think
Yeah.
the people that walk into your stores, and they walk into my stores too, they want the quality. They really, it's not, I don't know, people certainly are price conscious, and people certainly are very specific about what they want, but they also are shopping locally in order to get the best possible product that they can find.
Well, and I think, my mantra with my staff has always been service, selection, and value.
Service,
Selection
selection,
and
and value.
And that's why people come to us, that's why people shop locally, is because they can get that. And they
Yeah.
know they can get that, they know they can count on that. And it makes a huge difference.
It's actually fun. When I shop at your store, I usually have 5 minutes of time, and I come in and I have to send a gift to somebody, and I say, well, I've got this little person, and they're moving to California. What would be a great gift for them?
Yeah.
And they set me up with a little book on, children's book on moving, and there's something about it, it's something that had animals in it for like sea creatures and things like that. 5 minutes time, got the gift, you get the wrap all set out the door.
People are in a hurry. And that's part of that experience, and that's part of the thing of, if brick and mortars went away, what would you do when you forget somebody's birthday? You can't go online, and get, in half an hour, have something with a nice bag and tissue and ribbon and all that stuff, in 30
Are the
minutes.
holidays big for your business?
Yeah, they are, and what we get, and our forte is a book ordering thing. We've got over 40,000 books, okay? So Monday morning, someone walks in, we don't have the book they want. I've got 40,000 books in here. I don't have the book they want, okay? So we go, well, we're ordering at 11:30, and it happens to be in the direct warehouse that we order from, and we'll have it Tuesday afternoon. So we have a turnaround of 24 hours in a lot of our inventory. The closer to Christmas, the more, like trying to get more classmates, don't eat your classmates, might take a little bit longer if the publisher runs out again. But, and Michelle Obama's book is already out of stock with the publisher, except we have, I think, as of this morning, we had 4 left. We bought a case of it. So we're trying, and Louise Penny's book, that's now out of stock for everybody, we have 4 of those left. But we offer people a chance to pre-order, so it's there the morning that it is, you know, that
Oh,
it's
it's
released.
released, oh.
Yeah, so we have it the release date.
Uh-huh.
And we give a little incentive for pre-orders. But, you know, we have to look ahead. We have to have that crystal ball, and what book is it, you know, in September that is going to be our biggest Christmas seller? And then we have to get that, you know, in the store and on the shelf, you know, the day that it's published.
Are art books and the, you know, coffee table books still popular?
No.
Uh-uh.
Mm-mm. No, they aren't. People want to read. Adults want their kids to read a real book. They don't want the kids to read that picture book on their Kindle. It's just not, they want to hold the book, you know, they want either the Indestructibles or the board books or whatever. And adults, when they're sitting at home, want to read a real book. Right now, bookstores are the fastest growing business in the United States.
Hallelujah.
Right.
That's
It
great.
is,
Right.
they
That's
are
great.
going nuts. And it just seems to be a turnaround. You know, you can only read so many free books on your Kindle before you have to start paying for them. And I think people, the other thing is, and I have to say this, publishers have gotten smarter. They're doing a higher quality book. So the dust jacket is better designed. You've got a beautiful cover. There's a new one on the Earthsea. It's Ursula Le Guin's Earthsea trilogy or series, and they have an illustrated edition of it this Christmas. That I'll admit it's 3.5 inches thick. But it's illustrated by Charles Vess.
Oh.
Charles Vess Illustrations, who is a phenomenal artist, illustrator. And it's a $50 book, but it is the most beautiful piece of art that you've ever seen. So yeah, coffee table books may not be in style, but beautiful books are still there. So it's fun, it's interesting. So how do we promote ourselves? So, you know, in a sense, what I try to do when we do a show like this is to get as much education about who we are, what we do, and what we can give to our community. I know that I partner a lot with our community people, and so I'm working with places where, you know, they come to me, you know, and want to partner a little bit, and I try to do as much as I can with other people. And I'm sure that you're asked to partner here and there too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we do a lot of that. Yeah. We work with the library and we work with Land Conservancy, and hospice is one of our places that's close to my heart, and we work with them, and yeah, a lot of different organizations.
Yeah.
It's important. I mean, it's part of being in the community. It's part of what you're there for.
And I think people appreciate that when you can give back a little bit in your community. So
I enjoyed the author night that you had, that I came to
Oh,
recently, yeah.
yeah,
It was too
our
bad
auth-
it wasn't a very nice night out, so they didn't get,
2 years in a row we hit the first snow, and so
Oh no!
last year it was in December. So we said, well, we're not going to do that. We're going to move it up an entire month. And so we moved it up for an entire month, and then we hit the first snow again. I said, I'm going to have my author night in July.
Yeah,
next year.
right. Yeah.
You know? So, you know, no snow, but probably a rainstorm. So where do we go from here? What's our future? Are we going to stick around as brick and mortars?
I think there is always going to be a need for brick and mortar. I think you've got those people who are last minute shoppers. I think you've got those people who want to see and touch and feel. You've got those people that want to deal with a business that they know has integrity, that they know is part of their community. I don't see it going away. And even though I personally am gonna try to retire in a couple of years,
All of us, the three of us
Yeah.
are sitting here
Yeah.
joking about
Yeah.
retiring,
Yeah.
and you don't see any of that happening right now, but,
you know, my hope is that we're gonna sell the business intact, and it will carry on.
I think as long
You
as
know?
it's a feel-good experience, that people could go in and have a good time when they're there and accomplish something when they're there. We've been very fortunate to have the partnership with some of our vendors where the person shops online. Everybody shops online.
Yeah?
They get some ideas and then they come in.
Oh,
and
yes,
that's
yes,
right.
yes, that
Excellent.
happens to
Yep,
me a lot.
Yep, yeah, me
Right,
too.
and then you
Yep.
have a chance to
Yep.
engage with them and they
Yep.
already have some
Yep.
knowledge or they may have some questions and you can help them out with that. But I think as long as you can make it a great experience for
Yeah.
people, and I think some of the things you do, and you probably both do it, where you bring other experiences together besides just yours, and I could do more of that, I know, and it's something I need to learn about. We tried and downtown Kalamazoo is great, to be honest with you,
Oh,
for
yeah.
all the things that they put
Well,
on
and
to
the-
bring people.
The changes that are coming too, I mean, it's really exciting.
So what's going
It's-
on?
Well, all the new buildings and all the new construction
well,
and all the
that's
new
true.
residences and
There is a little bit of
lots new-
construction.
lots of new
people.
apartments for you to decorate.
So, well, just lots of
Yeah,
people coming to
yeah.
live in these kind of communities.
Yep.
The whole flight to the
Yep.
suburbs is now got another generation of people who want to come and be in community. So we can service that community. It provides
Well,
purpose for us.
and
Yeah.
we're always gonna have to have a chair to sit in and a table to eat at. I mean, the fact is that, like you said, the changes in furniture have been subtle, but it's something that we're always gonna need, I mean, not everybody reads. My customer base is around 15 to 16% of the of the U.S. population.
They
You-
read books.
that read books, that read. It's not a huge
Wow.
population, which is very sad, which is very sad.
A lot smaller than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with you, everybody needs a chair.
Well, we do carry mattresses.
Everybody needs to sleep, right?
Yeah, but we help people with reupholstery too. I mean, a lot of people
Sure.
have pieces that they love, that they've inherited.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it's not
but have you-
economically a great deal to reupholster, but
But they want to keep that quality piece.
or it's something that they inherited that they
Yeah.
It's
want
the
to keep.
sentimental attachment.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a good point, because you can't find some of this beautiful, beautiful custom furniture anymore. That it's just hard to get out there. And when you get a piece, have you hefted a new chair lately? It's like lightweight and it's not real sturdy and it doesn't hold up real well. But the good furniture has a heft to it.
We just had somebody come in and they're moving here from the West Coast and they took a beautiful piece that they were having rebuilt and took it to a very well-known upholstery shop in Kalamazoo. And he told them that you can't find furniture built like that piece that they had. Mohair.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
yeah.
$500
Wow.
a yard.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
good
Just
heavens.
unbelievable
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
But just that you look at the way it's built.
Wow.
So anyway, I think that there's something for everybody out there being
Yeah.
produced today, and you just, we as retailers try to find the things and bring them forth and make them available to people so they have selection and choice.
And I remember where one of my only options for getting that word out was the jottings on the back page of the Gazette, and I would be 4 days a week in the jottings. Now there's so many places that we can get our message out to. I can't keep up with it.
No,
I
I don't know anybody that can.
Don't even ask me how to do a Facebook thing, but I have staff that does that. I mean, seriously, I don't Facebook me. It doesn't work, but I guess part of it is us running a business, and if I had that kind of time frame, I mean, my feet are paddling under the water. My staff is front and center. They're the ones that are out in front of people. And I know that's, I still do the outside events. But it's a lot harder to be an entrepreneur today. Well, maybe not. I don't know. I'm not going to say it's harder, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah, and I think you wear so many hats.
That's the
And-
point.
And each hat has gotten a little bit more complicated. The buying function is more complicated because you're not just concerned about what your neighbor down the street has, but you're going online and doing research and seeing what other places are
It's
charging.
time consuming.
To make sure that your prices are fair and reasonable, and, you know, it just takes more time and energy
Yeah.
than it used to.
To speak to your beginning question about being entrepreneurs, there still is all that. You know, when you work for yourself, sometimes you're your hardest boss. But you
Yes.
have the
Yes, that's
opportunity
true.
to
Yeah.
to create something each and every day that's not the same as what you did yesterday. Every day you do
Yeah.
something. different.
Everything's,
Yeah, every-
yes.
every
Oh,
day is
and
different.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Which is
I
what
love
keeps you
that.
going. It's what
Yes, I
keeps you
know.
going.
I know.
You know,
I
I've never done anything for this long in the same place in my life. So, I mean, I always got the 7-year itch, you know,
Did-
before. It's like, okay, time for a new agency, you know, time for a new challenge, but this is challenging every day, which is a blast.
I'll never forget, my mother lived in Kalamazoo for a while when I first opened the store. And she'd come in and she said, "When are you going to get a real job?" She said, "You need a weekly paycheck." You know? And I would just look at her and I'd go, "You know, Mom, there's two sides to this coin." So she was always waiting for me to get a real job.
How many hours were you working in a week at that point?
Yeah, well.
Like 60, 70,
Okay, so
80?
my hourly wage wasn't really that high at that point,
But you built a business. You survived. You
Yeah.
provided,
Yeah,
you know,
we all
jobs
have.
for a
we
lot
all
of
have.
people.
Yeah.
we
you
all
know,
have.
And
Yes.
that's-
Yeah, and
Yep.
and I don't know if we were to band together, if we were to reach out to some of our other fellow retailers, I'll bet we'd all hear the same story too. You know, and it's always, you know, like, how do you hire someone? How do you fire someone? You know, what do you do about wages? You know,
Well,
you know.
Laura, you're very active in the buy local organization.
Yeah, there's not a lot of retailers out there that want to, that have time or the energy to interact with other retailers. The three of us have been friends for a long time, but we don't get together that often because of time constraints. But I appreciate stepping away from my business in retail and seeing what someone else is doing in retail.
Laurie and I are both part of the Downtown Kalamazoo Restaurant and Retail Association,
Right.
and that's a really good group of people.
Because you're all retailers.
Right.
And restaurants,
And
and
restaurants.
that's when I see
Yeah.
you,
Yeah,
and
right.
it's brainstorming and talking about things, and
Yep.
that's been a good way to.
That is helpful,
connect.
and you're right. I mean, it's a good thing to have a connection with other people because you always learn something.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's a constant learning process.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And
We try to have coffee,
you
and
know.
it takes us a year to have it.
Well, you know what? Maybe we can do it a little bit easier and do it a little bit more often. Because things are changing at a faster clip
That's
than they have.
very true.
And I am going to try to step back a little bit. You're going to try to step back. We're going to get Cindy to step back just a skosh, long enough to have a cup of coffee with us. And even if I have to come downtown here to get a new pair of shoes at B&A, I can stop and have coffee with you guys. But I appreciate you coming on the show tonight. I hope our audience has learned something about business people in Kalamazoo and about the nature connection of Kalamazoo and Stewart and Company of Kalamazoo. And this is probably the most I've talked about Kazoo Books on any of my shows. I usually
Yay.
don't get a chance to mention it, and I didn't even bring any video or whatever. So
So go to your YouTube site.
I've got to
there you
get it on the
go. There you
YouTube
go.
site. How do I do that? We'll get it going. And there's the channels that you'll be able to see the show. And you can also tune in to archive.org is a online cloud system that will allow you to go back and see some of the other shows from the local scene and things that public media is doing. Public media is, these studios are above the Epic Center, or in the Epic Center on the 3rd floor. And these shows are meant to be educational and entertaining, and hopefully we'll be able to get the information out about us and how to get a hold of us. So we're wrapping up. I think we're pretty darn close to being done. We got 5 more minutes? Oh, cool. What do you guys want to talk about? Oh, yeah.
5 more minutes.
Yeah,
That's
5
great.
more minutes.
That's great.
Flyers, print. Do we do anything in print?
That's a good question.
Never.
We just, well, you know, we just looked at doing things differently this year, and so we went to about a 3-month trial where we quit doing print, we quit doing mailers, and we just went through e-marketing. You know, we worked with an
Uh-huh.
agency
Really?
to do some of that.
Like-
You pick your demographics, you do all those kinds of things.
Yep.
And I think that that we missed something with that. And I've watched a lot of videos that our industry has put together with marketing people and saying, direct mail, still, how much direct mail did you get before the campaign?
Oh my gosh.
Just a
It was so
ton,
awful.
because
That-
it's still
Postcards
considered.
that were this big.
Yeah, oh,
Right,
and my husband and I have different last names, so we get 2 from the
Right,
same
right.
people.
So it's annoying. I mean, I
Yeah,
hear a lot of
yeah,
people, you know,
yeah,
when we do a
yeah.
direct mail, please, people call up and they want us off the list. But, you know, but people see it, they touch it. You know, if
Yeah.
you invite them to something, sometimes they come.
Mhm,
You know, you
mhm,
give them, so
mhm,
direct mail
mhm.
is still a very, I think, a very
Okay.
successful thing. We still do a little bit of TV, and we do TV commercials now and then. So I
Yeah,
think it's- I
your
think you
new,
have to
your
do
new
different-
commercial is good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that new,
beautiful.
that new
Yeah,
commercial
yeah,
that's
really is
gorgeous.
nice.
Well, thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
We did get help on
Yeah.
that. So that was good.
Yeah.
But now, do you guys collect emails and send out an email blast? No.
E-blast. We do e-blast, yes, we do. It's hard to get, you know, people are so, if you talk to anybody, they're so tired of opening their phone and having 500 e-blasts from
Right.
people. It's hard to
Right.
get people. So
Yes.
how about you?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
actually, we've got a huge email list, and Todd spends hours putting together a literary newsletter that he sends out once a month. We do two email blasts a month. One is about the events that are coming up and what's happening in the store. And the other one is a literary newsletter that has nothing to do with our sales or us. It's a literary newsletter that he puts together on what's coming out and what's new and hot and what books are the cool thing. And I talked to some people the other day. I was at an event and they were in from Chicago, and they go, well, we're not around here. I said, if you want a good literary newsletter, I said, just sign up to get the newsletter.
So can they go to your website and then sign up to be on your
Yeah,
mailing list?
they can sign up from
that's
the
a good-
website.
Yeah, that's a great.
So
that's
they
effective.
can be
Yeah,
in Chicago,
yeah, that's
and
great.
I have a friend of mine is in Florida, and she gets our email blasts and comments on it. We've had more comments on the fact that that literary newsletter that goes out has so much interesting information in it. That's all they want, that's all they're after, it's just that literary newsletter.
I've wanted to do that for years, and I've never figured out a way to carve out the time to do it.
Well,
I think that's
You-
great.
He
great
does it, that's
strategy.
what he does,
Uh-huh,
that's,
uh-huh,
and the research that you gotta put into it, again, it's that time consuming to find out about a product, find out, you know, when it's coming up, how's it, you know, what's it about. I do book reviews. Okay, I do book reviews for Women's Lifestyle Magazine and for Michigan Home Magazine. And carving out the time, and with women, with the Women's Lifestyle is not too bad, it's only a month or so in advance. But Michigan Home Magazine is a bugger because this week, I have to do reviews that are coming out in March, in February and March.
Wonderful. That's a
But-
wonderful thing.
But I have to know what books,
What should you,
yeah, what's coming out
Yeah,
in
what
March.
should you talk about?
Oh.
Yeah.
So, and they're decorating books, the magazine's full of decorating ideas, food ideas, high-end builders. It's a beautiful magazine, if you guys haven't seen it, it's really good. But it's like, you know, I have to go out there a ways to find the stuff. So I'm looking at stuff that's going to be published. And I found this cool book on gargoyles in Detroit that Wayne State University Press is going to be doing in March. And it's the architecture of,
Cool.
you know, the gargoyles from the years and years of Detroit's old buildings. And these gargoyles and griffins that have been sitting on the corners of these old
Historic
buildings.
buildings.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
it's
so
a-
cool.
And it is a photography book, but it's also a history book of Detroit, you know. But, you know, I messed around in the computer for I don't know how long to find that. So, thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Gloria.
This is
Thank you,
cool.
Gloria. This is great.
We'll have to do a whole show on just promotion and advertising and things that have changed.
Oh, my gosh. 2 shows, maybe.
I'm surprised that you do that much at Christmas time.
Yeah.
Well, the Christmas,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Santa downtown is
Yeah.
at the
Well,
Epic Center.